it said, Cobb, who was 62, he's probably 60-some-odd years by now, was arrested Saturday along with fellow neo-Nazi for allegedly threatening citizens while going on patrol with weapons in Leith, North Dakota. Population about 16. Cobb and Keenan Dutton, who's 29, are each charged with 7 counts of terrorizing residents, 5 counts involving guns, and they faced between 10 and 35 years of jail if they were convicted. But what happened was, one of the fellow neo-Nazis found out that this man was part black and just totally turned on him. It was like, I don't support black people. All this time, this man ate in his house, probably messed around with his wife, whatever happened, and then all of a sudden you don't want to talk to him anymore? That's crazy. So that's what happened, and that's what's happening right now. They said, if you put 100 white people in a room right now and test their DNA, the same thing with us, with black people. If you put everybody in the room, let's say this, we put all races in a room and test their DNA, I bet you there was 100 people in a room, 45 of them are related. I bet you. Along the board. I bet you they are. And I wish there was an opportunity for us to conduct such tests because it would definitely show true. Yes. So, do you think we can honestly shut the government down because of the war on healthcare? Well, right now, your president is basically saying that because of that, no one's 100%, and no one's 100% of anything. So much race mixing back with slavery. So many people were concubines or that juicy meat for an owner that no one's pure anymore. And what ends up happening is someone that may look like one race ends up dating someone else in that race, and they come to find out that they're not even 100% of that race. So it's just a lot of mixing, and honestly, so what? If someone loves somebody, so what? Mind your business. Find love. And if you really find love, you'll understand why people are going across a color barrier, because they love who they love. Period. So the government is shutting down, according to Trump, because he says, you won't give me my wall and you won't get rid of health care. It's a tremendous problem. Bigly bad. And people are like, wait a minute. How are you going to shut down the government because you're not getting your way? You kept promises that you couldn't keep. You know, again, we said this in the beginning of the show. No one person runs the United States, period. 45 is 100% foolish. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what ended up happening was he said, okay, no, you're not going to pay for the wall. Mexico's not going to pay for the wall. So I'm going to shut the government down until you pay for the wall. So they want every family to pay $132, I think between $132 and $330 per year, per person, per family, or per working person to pay for this wall. And then they said, Mexico will give us the money back. You see my face, right? For those who are listening, my face is really crunched up right now. You know doggone well ain't nobody going to pay for that wall. Period. And because of that, you know, you have it now where people aren't believing a word that this man is saying. They're saying, like, you know, you wrote checks that you're behind can't cash. You thought this was the apprentice. Clearly you thought this was apprentice. And you thought, hey, if I do this, then this will happen. If I do this, this will happen. And it's not right. Exactly, crickets. Exactly. You know, you can't tell somebody, hey, I'm going to shut this down because I don't like the way things are happening. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. And I'm looking at it like this. If you shut the government down because you can't get your bigly way about healthcare, and you can't get this tremendous push for this ginormous wall that you promised, and you said the American side is going to be beautiful, and we don't care what it looks like on the other side. Really? You're going to be duck meat, because they're going to say we can't trust you. They're going to say that you didn't keep your promise, and they're also going to say that you are full of sugar honey iced tea. Yeah. So, hold on. Okay, so I'm trying to read her name. Okay, so Charity said, this man is plumb crazy, and because he's plumb crazy, he's putting us all at risk. We still haven't heard anything from that dude at North Korea. Charity, you're so right. So, the last time the dude from North Korea hid out, we were, United States and other countries were threatened because they were away systematically thinking of some kind of plan to totally obliterate everybody except for them, including South Korea. And the jacked up part about it is everyone's worrying about the wrong thing. We're worried about the wrong thing. They have us focused on the black man that looked like Ray Lewis with a sew-in and a grizzly beard, opposed to what's really happening. Tax returns, impeachment, and North Korea. Those are the three things we need to be worried about right now. Let's say it together. Impeachment, tax returns, North Korea, in any order. And, I got the scoop too. And they said that Bannon is so mad that he's spilling all the tea. I'm talking like just guzzling it out. So apparently, he's going to go first with the Democrats and who he didn't like and who he thought was doing whatever. But then he also said he's going after Kushner and Ivanka because he said they were all full of... Exactly. So because of that, he said, and then we're just going to watch the pieces fall down. I was like... He's dropping the tea on everybody. How are you going to say we're going to watch all the pieces fall down unless you are planning on blowing people's spots up? And then Mueller is coming up with all this evidence that he's like, well, wait a minute. You said you didn't speak to so-and-so on the 11th. How come they had a whole string of calls on the 11th? You said you didn't go to such and such a place, but we found airline tickets that show that you did. Whatever happens in the dark will come out in the light. What happens in the wash will come out in the rinse. Stop thinking that you could get away with stuff because everyone always finds out with whatever it is. Period. Whether it's with this man in office, whether it's with a job, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with a family, what comes out, what doesn't come out in the wash is going to come out in the rinse. And when it comes out in the rinse, woo-wee, it's going to be bad. It'll be bad. Because it's just easier to say, you know what, I messed up. I did do this. He's going to take this to the wheels fall off, and he's going to keep lying until eventually he gets caught. So that's enough for him. I'm sick of him. So, who got the best glimpse of the eclipse? I want to know, did you see the eclipse? Hold on. Tanya said, heck yeah, I saw the eclipse. I saw it so much that my eyes started hurting from the glasses. Oh my gosh. So Tanya said that her eyes were hurting from watching the eclipse. Well, ladies and gentlemen, South Carolina got the best glimpse of the eclipse. Oregon and South Carolina, they said that the eclipse was so powerful that the sun was totally blocked. It got pitch black for about 10 minutes. It got freezing cold, went from like 90 degrees to like 60 degrees. And they said it was just so awesome. It was just so awesome. And in Delaware, my kiddies and I, we got to see a little piece of it. When I was at work, I actually got to see the moon traveling along the sun, and it stopped. And I was able to drive fast enough to go get my kids and say, hey, look at this, look at this. So if you got a chance to see the eclipse, I want to hear about it. Write something on our page or let us know, because that was a magical, monumental moment. And lastly, before we close the show, it's back to school for the kids. What do you need to know in order for your kids to have the best year ever? So studies show that when kids have a full awesome meal, meaning it covers all the food groups if possible. If you're vegan, it has enough colors on a plate. They say a child that has a well-balanced meal, not only at night but in the morning, and until number 45 cuts the school lunch program, which includes breakfast, can have the opportunity to have a well-rounded meal. So in doing so, they also say kids who have at least 5.5 to 7 hours of sleep undisturbed, meaning they don't have bathroom breaks, they don't go get something to eat, another sibling or friend or phone call or social media doesn't wake them up from a notification. If they have a straight, solid sleep, they said they'll be ready to conquer the world. And then they also said that kids who sit in front and raise their hand, or kids that sit in the back and go to the teacher after class to talk to them, often do better. So encourage your kids to sit in the front, or if they can't get a front line seat, wherever they sit, talk to the teacher and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no such thing as a bad or stupid question. Ask as many questions as you need to ask in order to understand what's going on. And doing that, you will be able to get ahead of the class. They also said those of you who have children, don't be afraid to get them with a tutor or a study buddy. I like that, study buddy. Don't be afraid to give them a study buddy or with a tutor so that they can have an opportunity to excel and do their absolute best. So now I have a 14-year-old that's going to be taking college-level calculus. I don't know squat about math. I am horrible at math. That is my disclaimer. I took my hat off. Bad at math. However, I have sense enough to know, hey, we need to get a math tutor and make sure he really gets his calculus down pat. So it's nothing wrong with having that. And it's also not wrong if you have to have your child evaluated in the event that something is going on. It could be peer pressure, it could be puberty, it could be a combination of them all. But if you notice a different behavior with your child and they're starting to act out, they're starting to do things they never did, if they're starting to hang out with new people, first you want to make sure that they're okay. Then you want to make sure they're not suicidal. You also want to make sure that they're not using. That's the biggest thing, because that 13-year-old who died from that fentanyl heroin combination that he made, they said he did it so he could be friends with someone because they didn't believe him. They didn't believe in him and they weren't his friend. So we have to teach our children that they are enough. We have to teach our children that they don't have to be with the in crowd. They don't have to use drugs to make them be anything else but than who they are. So if you encourage your child in the evening when they come home from school, if you encourage them in the morning, maybe put a sticky note on their window of their mirror, I should say, telling them you are great, you are awesome, you will succeed, you are the best thing I've ever had. Anything like that to let them know that they're going to have a good day, that will encourage them to do the right thing. And then when you can, hug them as many times as you can. Talk to them as much as you can. I had a I'll disclose this. I had a very, very hard moment this morning because, like I said, my 14-year-old, he's on his way to 10th grade, and I'm like, I love you, bye. I'm giving him a hug. He was like, Mom, please stop. I'm like, what do you mean, please stop? Like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to him. He's always cuddled under me, or he's taller than me now, but he always finds a way to put his little stringy self on me and hug me and tell me how much he loves me. And this morning, I'm like, bye, baby. And he's like this, like walking like this, like he'll hear me. And then after that, I'm like, I love you, Jay. And he's like, Mom, stop it. So then I found out later on, because it was a little girl that he thought was cute, and I was in front of him, so he couldn't show her how much he loves Mom. But okay, stop laughing at me, y'all. When my inbox is lit up too, they're like, cry baby. Keith said, you're a cry baby, sure, knock it off. But it's true. It's so hard when your kids don't give you back that affection that you're looking for. And I know my baby, he always says to me, honey, you better get prepared. It's too late now to start crying. It's already happening. And I have to listen to him because he's been through that. He has adult children. But I cried to him. I'm like, he didn't tell me he loves me. And he was like, you know he loves you, cut it out. So it's good to have a man by your side that kind of puts you back in place when you're having these meltdowns, because they are hard meltdowns. So when you send your kid off to school, they don't have to have the best clothes. They don't have to have the $100 shirts and the $500 True Religion pants. They don't have to have that. All they need to have is something clean, something that fits, and something that's nice. It doesn't have to be overpriced, and enough love to let them know you don't have to have a $3,000 suit on to be great. You could be great with a nice $50 suit on, $20, whatever you can afford. You know, somebody's character shouldn't be based on what their parents can afford or willing to pay for their clothes. Let's remember that. So, my exercise for you all before we close the show. Tonight, if your kids are still up, tell them you love them and give them the biggest hug ever. And then tomorrow, let them know they are great. They are amazing. They will succeed. And you want your kids to do better than you. Always remember that. It's not a competition. You want them to do better than you. So you can look at me like, look what I did, you know? And in doing that, just let them know how special they are. And remind them drugs are not the answer. Drugs are the worst thing since burnt bread. And you never, ever, ever want them to use anything that would change their beautiful selves. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our first night on iHeartRadio. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for showing me love. For everyone that was in the live chat, thank you so much. For everyone who has inboxed me, thank you so much. For everyone streaming live on air and texting me and telling me that, thank you so much. Let's keep my show number one. Let's let people know about the Miss OptimiZm Speaks radio show every Wednesday at 9:30. And if it's not live, it will be pre-recorded. We have a surprise guest that's coming on. I can't tell you who it is. But this young lady is a power dynamo, and I'll give you a hint. She was in a group she replaced another lady in this group, and she tore it up. Not saying that the other woman didn't do her thing, but she just hit the ground and ran with it and did her thing with it. So we are excited about the guest that's going to be coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you are awesome, and you will always be awesome. And remember, you are blessed by the best person. This evening, we covered the Norristown train crash, opioid, synthetics, and other drugs. Why now? Trump bankrupting, the Secret Service, paid protesters or paid supporters? What can we do to stop racism? What the government is going to shut us down? And also, who got the best glimpse of the eclipse and sending your kids back to school? Thank you so much, babe. Thank you for the upgrade. To God be the glory. And don't forget, go to chancerapper.com and order your products today. Well, we are signing out right now.